What's up, guys? I haven't made a truck video in a while, and kind of been sitting here. I'm on a little bit of a break here while I wait to get loaded up at one of my stops here in Boston. Wanted to just come on here real quick and just kind of talk about some stuff. Like I said, I haven't really made a truck video in a while. I've been I shouldn't say really busy at work. But let's talk, man. Let's talk about some Celtics. What a disappointing shit show of a season this has been. And you know what? I don't want to say it, but I've been looking for somewhere to put blame and place blame for this season, because it's just been one disappointment after another. It's been bad. It's been a very disappointing year for us Celtic fans and the Celtics in general. It kind of started at the end of last year, where they had some of the most important guys on the team just disappear and not show up in the most important times, in the most important times of the season, in the playoffs. And the guys that we were dependent on to really realistically help this team, take the next step, disappeared, and they kind of did nothing for us. So realistically, it started at the end of last year. But this season has really been a disappointment. It's been bad. It's been very up and down, very inconsistent, very just disappointing as a whole. And like I said, I was looking for places to blame, people, and just somewhere to place the blame for the season and just the disappointment that it's been. And realistically, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. There's no one specific, place you can really realistically say, well, it's all their fault. Because to me, taking a step back and just kind of being realistic and looking at it from, big picture, it's everybody. It's Danny Ainge, it's Brad Stevens, it's the players, it's everyone. It's an organization, it's the owner. Wick doesn't escape this either. It's the organization as a whole. They've just not been good. It's everyone. Nobody, you can't really put it in one specific direction. Everybody shares blame for this year and the situation that they're in. The player, we can start. We'll just go area it. We'll go from one to the next, and I'll give you my thoughts. The players, the bench has not been good. They've been terrible. The bench has been awful that's been a big problem for us for years now. Years and years and years and years. Probably since 2012. The bench, 2012, 2013, the bench has not been good, or inconsistent at best. At best, inconsistent. The last 3 years, it's been bad. Really bad. They've not been good. They've way underperformed and been underwhelming to say the least. And then, at times, some of the most important players on this team have disappeared. Kemba Walker being the most, being one of them. He for what we're paying him, $34 million, and what we're getting out of him, that is not even close. That's not even close. He's been a huge disappointment. In the playoffs last year, he was a huge disappointment. That is unacceptable in my eyes. The way Kemba's performed has been unacceptable. The Jalen and Jason, they've been inconsistent, and they've been inconsistent this year as well. It's highs and lows and ups and downs, and they just can't seem to find any consistency at times, and it's just to me, it's immaturity. I mean, I get that they're young. I get they're still very, very young, and the immaturity plays a role in it. I do understand that aspect of stuff, but I will say this, right? I'll say this. Jaylen Brown has a better attitude than Jason Tatum. Tatum, to me, is kind of a puss at times. He's kind of a puss at times. And at times I think he thinks he's better than he really is. And it holds him back. Tatum aggravates me sometimes, a lot. A real lot. His attitude, I think, is part of why he's so immature. It really does bother me. I think he thinks he's better than he really is. And when he gets that dose of reality and he gets slapped in the face with maybe I'm not as good as I really think I am, you can tell because he gets that sourpuss attitude. And I think one of the things that aggravates me the most about him is he's afraid to drive to the hoop. He's afraid to drive to the hoop and just be aggressive. And he'd rather shoot some dumbass fall away from the elbow, off balance shot that's heavily contested over just driving to the hoop and taking the easy layup. Go to the hoop and take the easy layup, man. Like, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's extremely frustrating. And then when he does drive to the hoop and he does be aggressive, he'll go up with the layup and it'll miss. That's a microcosm of this whole season. Jason Tatum's attitude at times drives me absolutely crazy. I do like Jaylen Brown's attitude a lot better than Tatum's at most of the time. Marcus Smart is another one that drives me absolutely crazy. Why on earth is he taking shots at the end of games that belong to Tatum and Brown and some of these more effective scorers? Why? Because he thinks he can? He's another one that the attitude is really starting to piss me off. Marcus is nothing more than a role player on this team. Is he very good at his role? Yes. He's a defensive playmaker. And he's the guy who plays with the chip on his shoulder and with the attitude and gives the Celtics their edge. Be that guy. You're not, enough with the hero ball. Enough with the hero ball, Marcus. You're not a shooter. And you know what? To be honest, if the only way to stop Marcus from shooting and taking shots that belong to Tatum, Brown, and some of these more effective scorers is to trade him, then I'm at that point. Trade him. If he's not going to fall into the role in his role on this team, then he can go. We can trade him. That's where I'm at with him. He is one of those guys that just aggravates the ever-living shit out of me at times. And speaking of the bench, Jeff Teague and Tristan Thompson, where have they been? There are no-shows. And the other day, somebody said something to me, and it's like, Teague has finally started to score. It's against these teams that are bums and trash. Of course he's going to score a lot because the teams they're playing against suck. They're terrible. Of course he's going to score. But when we play against better competition, he's going to go right back to what he is, as useful as a parachute that opens on impact. And the same thing with Thompson. Thompson is about as useful as a pair of glow-in-the-dark sunglasses. The two of them were awful additions to this team. They've literally given them nothing. And let's move on to Brad Stevens. Brad, why on earth isn't Robert Williams starting yet? He's earned it. Williams has earned himself a spot in the starting lineup. Why? Give that dude some actual playing time, Start that guy. He's earned it. With the play lately, Robert Williams has earned a starting spot on this team. That is a fact. Non-arguable fact right there. He is absolutely, with the improvements that he's made and the high effort plays that he's making, he deserves to start. Start him at least 3 games and see what you get. At this point in the season, it couldn't hurt. It could not hurt. Because Tice is too inconsistent. And the rotations. What is with the rotations? Some of these rotations have me scratching my head. Stevens has failed this year as well. He's on the the heat should be cranked up on him a little bit too, because he's underperformed as well. And then last but not least, Danny Ainge. Danny, what have you done in the last 10 years? What have you done? This team gets to the Eastern Conference Finals and what have they fallen short? 3 times now, I think, 4 times. Your job as a GM is to get this team over that hump and to the next level. And you haven't been able to do that. Danny, you have been riding the Big 3 trade for way too long. You're treated like a god in this town. You really are. And you know what? It's about time that we crank the heat up on you. I'm not on the fire Danny Ainge train. I'm not on that whole train. Not yet, at least. I'm not on that train yet. But turning the heat up on Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge might actually get us some halfway decent results. You know, crank the heat up on these guys, hold them responsible, hold them accountable, and have them start making some, have them start making some tough decisions that need to be made to get this team better. Danny Ainge has rode the coattails of that Big 3 trade for way too long. It's about time the Boston media, the Celtic fans alike, start holding him accountable for his actions. That needs to happen. He needs to be the like I said, you need to start cranking the heat up on him and holding him accountable for this stuff. No more skating on past moves, Danny. No more of that. This is a league of what have you done for me lately? And lately, you have done shit. So it's about time you pay your dues there and start feeling some of this heat and start being held accountable. This team needs to get better, and tough decisions are going to have to be made. But the truth of the truth is, to get talent, you have to give talent. So we're going to have to give some of these guys up. That's the truth. That's a fact. There's no avoiding it. There's no getting around it. This team just absolutely aggravates the hell out of me, and because they've underperformed this year. They are a lot better than what they are currently right now. They should not have this record that they have. They are better than this. Even with the lack of talent on the bench, they are better than this. Far better than this. So, Ainge, Brad, and Wick better figure this out and figure it out quick. But that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to get back on the road. I get back to work. Break's over, and I will see you guys later. Peace.